Welcome to Cut the Sith Reading Club, Episode 3. I am your host, Colin McSorley. Today we'll be discussing Phase 3 Detonation and Final Phase Damage Assessment from Star Wars A New Dawn by John Jackson Miller. Alright, now, as you guys already know, time to introduce the High Council. Who wants to be introduced first? Yona, go.
Why do you always do that to me? I'm excited to discuss the last two parts of this book. Kanan's boring. Okay, go.
Don't worry. Before I get to everyone else, when we start discussing the actual book, we will be talking about favorite and least favorite characters. And if anyone's least favorite character is Kanan, they're banned from future meetings.
That's the real litmus test here, right?
Sierra, you're up.
I'll just wait till we talk about the book, I guess. But, yeah.
Can't hear Sierra at all.
Oh.
Just say hi, Sierra. The people want to hear you talk.
Can't you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I should have probably went to Ryan first because he has dinner. So Ryan, just say hi and then go eat.
I'm the voice without a face.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Wait, so you don't show up at all on the camera. You just like
That's
talk
not
over
my
the
problem.
rest of us speaking.
It's Dexstar, yeah.
They don't even see that picture. It like nothing shows up on YouTube. I can tell Steve hasn't watched the videos.
Oh.
Can you say hi?
Hi, everybody. What's up? Looks like I've been found out. No. Hi, everybody. I'm
I
excited
haven't watched a single one.
I'm excited for discussing the finale to this book. So, looking forward to it.
Alexandros.
Well, hello everybody again. I'm very excited, and I want to say, guys, we did one whole book.
Can't believe
No,
it.
we did.
We did it.
Right? We got
High school Colin would be so shocked.
That's right, he should be, but no, we should I'll give ourselves a little consecutive pat on the back. It could have just been a one-time thing, but we've been keeping it going now over a month. So I'm proud of all of us.
We better be keeping it going because I have plans for January.
Well, yeah, listen, I already pre-ordered that. I'm ready to
The
go.
High Republic pre-ordered too. I don't know what we're doing between September and January, but January we're doing the High Republic.
Nice.
Spoiler alert. All right, Alex, give us a synopsis of Phase 3 and Final Phase.
All right. Well, like I just said, guys, we finally did it. We made it to the end of our first book. And Phase 3, it goes quick. At least in my opinion, the action is pretty much nonstop. You know, we're past everything. We're at the crescendo, we're at the peak, and also we're gonna dive right into the final phase as well, damage assessment, which is a good name. I'm gonna reiterate, I like the way they broke this down into phases. I like the little names they had. I like how everything, it was all essentially a chemical reaction. And I think that fits perfectly, especially with the ending of this. And I'm not gonna sit there and bog it down too much further. I'm really excited to jump into this, but let's not lie, we got a lot to unpack tonight. And
No kidding.
I'm excited to do it with you guys.
All right, who wants to start us off? Who got some initial thoughts on Phase 3 and the Final Phase?
Did we ever hear the Emperor say anything, or we just got Sloane saying she got that critical message from him?
Yeah, that was the fun little thing about it. It's like there was so much emphasis on the Emperor himself, and even to the point Kanan's running around pretending to be, an Imperial confidant for him. We don't. You're right. I'm pretty sure, and somebody correct me. I don't think we actually.
I think everything was through what
see it.
Sloane was saying.
Yeah, it was just like exposition and like the narration in Sloane's perspective. But yeah, no, we didn't directly hear from the Emperor this time. I kind of like that, honestly. Like, I was a little bummed. The Emperor is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. I kind of wanted to, get some new dialogue and, hear his perspective or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like they really built up his presence and they really made him like more of this dynamic, mysterious character by like not having him directly in the story at the same time. So
We also had a mention of Vader for a minute there in one of the, I forget what page or what chapter, but yeah, I wanted some more Vader and I wanted some Emperor. I say,
Yona loves the OT. That's all he wants.
yeah, when Vidian's face melted off, I thought that was pretty cool too. I just instant
oh my
Vader.
god.
That's all I could think of.
Also, I just want to say, I was right. Skelly did suicide bomb them.
Yeah, there's a big RIP.
Hold on. I'm going to rename my
Yeah,
name.
Skelly, I felt bad for this entire book, and I'm sad that he died. Sad that he died.
Okay, then we're going to change my name.
And especially Jesus. I love the fact of I made sure I put like a dozen stars next to my notes about that part because I did definitely want to talk about that part because I love the fact of just how it all happened. Like, you know, Vidian thinks, you know, he's going to go away and he goes on that whole internal monologue about how, you know, he's risen from nothing before. And if he has to take what he has to, he'll go somewhere else, you know, I'm assuming to like, you know, not only the Outer Rim, but probably, you know, the unknown regions. But I just, I love the fact that Skelly was just there. The robotic hand finally was vindicated after making it seem like this robot hand was close to the devil. And
So-
I jotted down that, did I? Yeah, right before Skelly blows the button, he looks directly at Cinda, he winks, and he says, I saved you, sweetheart. And that was just,
Skelly was a legit badass.
He really was.
He was dying of what? Internal bleeding and broken bones, and while he's going through all this,
Some missing teeth.
oh, he took an ass whooping and was like, I ain't going down without a fight.
I feel like at every part, almost every single chapter, especially after like midway through phase 2, somewhere in my notes, it's like Skelly's in bad shape. Skelly's not doing good. Skelly's high on medication.
As I was reading it, I was thinking, okay, he's not gonna get into this big like fight with Vidian. There's no way he's not even gonna make it. And it was just funny when Vidian was walking towards him and he grabs him. He's just like, I don't think so. But I wanted to bring up Count Vidian's past like person. What the hell?
Yo,
He's a phony. Like he does his own reports from. He kept two.
he
Reports
is
to
a
himself.
criminal mastermind.
Wow. Vidian was good, man, and especially like not for nothing, like that's having your cake and eating it too. Like that's genius. I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 times. That boy had a great cybernetic brain for the most part.
Yeah.
What do you guys? Because I know I said I love her so deeply, Zaluna. What do you guys think about Zaluna getting blinded and all that towards the end?
I mean, doesn't
She's getting
she
better,
have,
right?
Like supersonic hearing, right?
Yeah,
She's okay. She's fine.
let's say she kind of got like a superpower out of that
Yeah,
one.
she's fine.
Minus the blinding, she kind of got like a happy ending.
She got the happiest ending, in
Yeah,
my
like,
opinion, out of
she's just
anybody.
living on a remote world, has like this young girl come and just like help take care of her and stuff. Has a nice little garden. Oh, she's like fully retired.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic though, because as I mentioned in previous meetings, how they always emphasize her eyes and her being surveillance, and it ends with her not being able to see.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of cool.
No, I agree with you 1000% on that, especially because like that was trying to look for it a little bit in my notes because there was something else about that I wanted to bring up. But no, you're 100% right. Like she was essentially their eyes against Vidian as much as she could be, and
Yeah. And she was super helpful, more than I thought she would be, because she knew everything. Like, she's about cameras.
And I'll give it to her. She had a fair bit of balls on her. Listen, had I been in her position and her whole life, I don't know if I would have looked at Viddy and, blaster in hand, ready to go. Though it's a tough lick. I love Zelina.
Though, about kind of turning them in, just like I was like, no way. But she didn't do it, so that was good.
And that went on for a little. Like, maybe it's because I listened to it as opposed to reading it, but in my head I was like, God damn it, Zelina. I was like, all right, come on, let's move on from this thought. Let's get to the next one.
So Kanan's one force move, I think. Ellie did so much more shit than him, man. He didn't do anything.
Listen, he can't blow his cover.
I thought it was a little anticlimactic. I was expecting him to get the lightsaber out and confront.
Me too. The whole time they're building towards it. But actually, the last page, hold on, I'm going to open the last page, where it's like, perhaps the answer will come to you in another form. They were foreshadowing Rebels. All these things, like, oh, everything you wanted us to do in this book, yeah, it's going to just happen. Read the comics, watch Rebels. That's where you'll get all your answers.
Buy all our playsets
They don't
and
answer
toys. Yeah.
anything about Kanan or Hera in this book, because Rebels came out, I think, a month after this book did.
Ish,
Oh,
yeah. The book originally came out in like September or something like that.
Yeah, and I think
September
Rebels started.
15th.
Yeah, I think Rebels started October.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look that up. I don't feel like it. But still, it was
Yeah.
like, they left it all open ended. Then they jumped 6 years ahead into Rebel, and it's like, all right, here's all your answers.
See, I kind of want more adventures that are like, the in-between adventures where it's just Kanan and Hera, and then eventually you get like Zeb and Sabine, that's her name.
Yeah, I think I said
Chopper.
that last time, because I was talking, like, if they were gonna meet them at all, like the end, like the final. I didn't realize the final phase was only like 10 or 15 pages. If they were gonna meet them at all at the end of the book, when all this is over, because in Rebels, it's 6 years later. They have a full crew.
Yeah.
And we don't have anything that shows them meeting them or any of the Avengers. I think there might be flashbacks in Rebels, but it's not like them like meeting up. It's not in the comics, because the comics jump between parts during Rebels and during the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we don't have any of those adventures.
I want to see like how they got from point A to point B. Like I'm with you, because I was expecting like at least one other person to show up, or like maybe they were all people that like Hera already knew, for all we know. But I don't know. I honestly liked it a lot in terms of, this being the first big venture for Disney canon Star Wars, and not really relying on a whole lot of the established characters. Like, this is an entirely different cast of characters, new heroes, different villain, like different side characters and whatnot. And they got you invested. And I think, going back to the whole thing about they didn't actually have the Emperor say anything, like, it's probably for the better that they downplayed him a little bit, and that, they teased at him a little bit, but they didn't really like fall back too heavily on too many of the established characters in the canon. It felt like they were trying to make a story that could really stand on its own. And I think that they were able to accomplish that pretty well.
I agree 100% with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 50-50 on that.
There's way too many stories out there with the original trilogy. You can take a step back and like not have the Emperor in one book, because he's in, let me tell you, almost all the other ones.
Can verify, yeah. I mean, the thing too is just that, like, when you look at a canon like Star Wars, and you look at, almost 40 years or so, more than 40 years of like all these different pieces of fiction and works and whatnot, like the stories kind of tend to bleed together after a while, like, because they're going through a lot of those beats and a lot of those similar tropes and whatnot. So for me personally anyway, I was just kind of looking for more stories that shake up the formula a little bit, that pay homage to the older stories, but like don't rely so heavily on that imagery and like those different set pieces and whatnot, that, you know, would it really be able to stand on its own if it took place somewhere else, or if it was about different people, I guess. Am I making sense? Like, I hope I'm articulating that.
No, you are.
Very
You are.
good.
Yeah,
Way better than anything I could say.
yeah, I don't really disagree with you in any regard. Like even me, for someone going through again and rereading the book, like it's like, of course, yeah, fine, I knew what to expect, but even the I agree to an extent about the anticlimacticness. Like, yes, of course, there was a piece of me that wanted Kanan. The moment Vidian was like, "You don't have any weapons that can hurt me," you know, I wanted Kanan to pull his fucking lightsaber and just start, you know, going off.
I got
But
pumped when he reached for it the first time, and then he's like, a voice told
yeah,
me not to. It's like, stop listening to those voices. They all died because they listened to those voices.
Well,
The
would
Jedi
a
are
lightsaber
stupid.
have done anything anyway? Like, wasn't his
Would have looked
body,
cool.
like some sort of a cortosis weave that would have probably not, you know, it probably would have
Done much.
reflected the lightsaber, but I don't know.
and the thing I really liked about it, and truthfully, like I said, I'll be totally honest with all you guys because I really like you guys now. Oh man, the part where the part right before the platform or the bridge or whatever the massive piece of debris was that was about to fall on Hera. Just like for that split second, they did, in my opinion, they did such a good job just slowing everything down and really kind of making you feel like you're actually there with Kanan. That second, he actually reconnects with the Force. Like, he's not trying to suppress it anymore. It's like everything slowed down for him. He started realizing every little minute detail on everything. And man,
That was good.
But it's like also to the, you know, on the other hand of that, it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm with Yona a little bit. Like, I'm a heavy Star Wars fan, like all of us. It's like, yeah, I wanted a little bit more of just that Jedi stuff, but I also put in my talking points, and Colin brought it up too. It's like this, especially if you really enjoyed it, this is such a good warm up to Rebels. And also, like what Steve said, it's like these are now, of course, granted, it would have been great if at the end, like, Zeb had something to do with it, or there happened to be a droid that just happened to be an a-hole that they kept around for a little bit. But I also agree, on the other hand, that, you know, the fact that it was an all original cast and that it still kind of had that feel of Rebels, but, you know, like, this is, to me, this is like, you know, Ghost Crew 0.0. as opposed to like on Rebels where, you know, I would say it's like the 1.0 crew. So I'm agreeing with everybody. Everybody's making very good points at the moment.
Sierra, I got a question for you. So you've got a Leia tattoo, right? Did any of these characters make you want to get a tattoo? Because I say no.
No.
I want to get a Kanan tattoo, but that's from Rebels. Now, see, I wanted more.
We know what you want, Colin.
I wanted more fan service in this.
That's what I wanted.
I'm a Kanan fanboy, and because he made me love Rebels so much, and Rebels made me love Star Wars and all that. And Kanan, yeah, they go so deep into him in Rebels. I can understand why, since this basically is a prequel to Rebels, they didn't want to go so deep into him in this book. But in the background, I was like, I kind of wish you brought the lightsaber, because if Hera's the only person that survives, and I was like, fine, because she knows he has.
Oh, whoa! What did you just say?
What?
Did you just spoil something?
No, how is that a spoiler? I said if she's the only one alive that sees him with the lightsaber.
She is. I thought you said she is.
No, you didn't let me finish my sentence. So,
oh man,
if like Vidian dies and Hera and Kanan, the only two that survive that, then it's like, who cares? Because she eventually, by the time Rebels happens, I don't remember exactly the reveal in Rebels, but I think she knows he has a lightsaber.
I feel like she was aware of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's been a while since I've seen the pilot, and like
I
I
don't
haven't
think
really
they
seen
all.
too much
Yeah,
of it. But
I don't think they all found out at the same time. I'm pretty sure she knew. So it's like she could have seen it, but I can understand why he was like, no, it's not the right time. But then when he pulls it out in Rebels, it's like, it is the right time.
mhm.
Whoa. No.
That's not even a spoiler.
No,
He's
because
literally,
I was gonna say in
he's literally
Rebels,
holding a lightsaber on my t-shirt.
because in Rebels it was kind of like
Spoiler that shit,
uh,
Colin.
it was kind of like a big deal. I feel if my memory serves me correctly, and correct me if I'm not. I feel like when on Rebels, and obviously not everyone here has watched it, but when Kanan does pull out his lightsaber for the first time in the show, it like they really like pinpointed it on it. I feel like in the show they kind of made it like this is the first time in a very long time, he's reattached it and actually opened it.
Yeah, see, I think they do make a point in Rebels, like Alex was saying, that when he does it, it's the first time
Yeah.
since he like cut himself off from the Force that he did it. So I can understand why reading the book they don't have him do that, because I do think they make a point of that in Rebels that it's like this is the first time he's done it. But still, it would have been so sweet.
You also have to wonder too, like, the Lucas story group, as they're getting all this different stuff ready for new canon, like, telling John Jackson Miller, I guess, like, we want you to do a story about these characters, like we want you to introduce these characters and get people invested in them, but there are probably still limits on what you can have them do, because like this is the stuff we're going to explore in the show.
We're gonna let you write about this brand new Jedi, but he can't use his lightsaber.
I mean, that would be a good challenge, honestly, as a writer. That sounds like a really solid challenge.
I gotta talk. The first fight between Vidian and Kanan when they just had that
Oh my
hand.
god.
Also,
Oh my god.
the
Yeah.
smack talking where Vidian's like, I used to spar with people in physical therapy, and Kanan's like, I used to put people there. I was like, ooh, ooh. I was like, yes, get him, Kanan. And yet you don't like him, Yona. You're gonna be banned next week.
I mean,
He's not going to be banned.
recently I did watch the first like 2-3 episodes of Rebels to try and kind of bridge the gap. As Steve was saying, like I want okay, how did you get from this point to this point? And I felt like finishing this book and then starting Rebels, I still wasn't like Kanan's awesome or anything like that, or Hera's amazing. I just felt kind of like
Whoa. You can insult Kanan all you want.
your queen.
Hera's my
listen,
queen.
Yeah.
Even with the rest of us, there's lines.
She's our queen. Yeah.
Hera, I wouldn't get a tattoo of her, but I definitely will cosplay her. 100%. So, because I mean, I feel like I need to know more about her. There's more to learn. And for now, she's okay. Don't dislike them. I just don't love them yet. The characters.
I also felt like toward the end or the last little bit, she felt like more of a side character. Like they didn't rope her into, she should have shot off Gideon's leg or something. But I felt like she was more put on the side. I don't know. I'm trying to think of, did they bring the whole cast and crew together at the end? And we had goodbye to Zaluna, said bye to Skelly. Kanan and Hera are obviously on Ghost. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, she did, for me, feel like she was put on the sideline. Kanan was saving her, doing his fucking fart away the rocks, whatever.
It's the only move that
With
I have.
something. Didn't she like crash the place she was driving something?
Yeah, well, when they first busted in there, I did like the fact that they brought up that mid flight she threw a 180 in there, so she made, and the back of it would go in first to as like a battering ram, and also as like an extra little bit of cover for them. But I also don't necessarily disagree with Yona in comparison to how you see Hera in Rebels, especially because I watched Rebels before I read the book. And how you see her portrayed in this, in comparison, especially those last chapters of the third phase, in comparison to how you see her in Rebels, no, Yona's right. She did do a lot, especially with, crawling and all that, but they also made a point to make it known that Hera was lagging behind Zaluna and Kanan when they were going for Vidian's, the telecommunications office. And then you're right, they do kind of make her out to seem like a little bit of a damsel in distress. And because I'll just tell you, in Rebels, she ain't no goddamn damsel in distress. Right. She's a savage.
That's a really cool ship.
It's really weird and kind of abrupt how, like, she does there's that sort of shift, because like during the second part where she and Kanan are working together, like it's talking about how they're going from rooftop to rooftop, and like, she's able to keep up with him and able to keep an even pace, and then all of a sudden, like, she isn't anymore. That was a little strange, I thought. But
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I mean, she did some badass stuff, but I felt like toward the end there, she was pushed on the sides.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
I agree with you on that, yeah.
I was waiting for a kiss to happen. I don't know why. It didn't happen.
I'm surprised that didn't happen.
I felt like it was.
I wasn't. Was not surprised at all there was no kiss.
Really?
Yeah, she showed zero attraction to him. She grew to like him as a person. She, in the story, does not show a single bit of, like, physical attraction to him.
You're right.
It would have been weird if she kissed him.
Well, didn't she say something about how she was thinking about how much more she liked him and found him attractive because...
Yeah, because he wasn't a dickhead anymore. It's because she thought he was like a selfish dick at the start. And then she realized that when she realized that he was kind of like a Jedi, basically. He was like saving people and stuff. And even Zaloon, did Zaloon ever mention to her how she used to see him just like doing all those like things like helping people on the camera?
She was saying, you're not a bad guy, Kanan.
Yeah.
And she also really alludes to the fact, that's why I love that little woman so much. No, she brings up a point, especially, I'm pretty sure it's in the final phase, the last time her and Kanan speak, is that, she says, or no, excuse me, maybe it's right before she goes off to try to get into the room alone herself, is she brings up the fact that there's much, much more to Kanan than he ever lets on. And the fact that he kind of goes out of his way to make sure if he does help somebody, he completely keeps it secret.
he had so many wingmen in this story, it's ridiculous.
I mean, Zaluna also talked a bunch about the Jedi.
He kept mentioning it, like, if only there was a Jedi here.
Yep.
She definitely had to have seen something on those cameras.
Kanan is just like,
Oh, yeah.
all right.
Yeah, just like, come on.
Yeah, because at one point, you're right, she completely brings, I know I had taken it down somewhere on my notes, but before I take off for the first time tonight, she brings up the fact that, she's seen essentially, firsthand what the Jedi can do, and that the fact that she never really 100% believed the propaganda behind what the Imperials were spewing after Order 66.
Yeah, I have it written down that she said the Jedi's fixed things. That's what she stressed on, that they fix things. Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back.
See ya.
So I personally was also kind of bummed out. We did not get a follow-up to the Blood Cult. And then when they mentioned the Beridium 357, I wanted like Blood Cult plus that. Boom.
That Blood Cult just like goes off and never appears again.
Yeah.
They're sitting there just eating animals and stuff.
With all of the acid just
all weird.
pouring. That was pretty cool.
The Beridium 357 for everyone else, has that ever been mentioned before?
That's the first time I've seen it. Steve would be the only person I know to know that answer.
That's the first place I've seen it too, honestly.
Ooh, and then on random people that get mentioned and don't show up again, I'm gonna say this wrong, but Chamas, Chamas. Ever see him again?
I
I'm
don't
gonna take
recall.
that as a no.
Which character is this?
That's the one that was with
One
Sloan.
of the guys
the
who was
end.
interacting with Sloan.
He's like a spy for Donth, kind of, right?
Yeah, right.
looked
I forget what he did.
Was he in Aftermath at all, Colin, or no?
No, I only recognize Sloan from Aftermath.
Hmm.
So I don't know what happened to any of these other people. I can tell you
Well-
right now, the only people I know that appear again are Kanan, Hera, and Sloan. Everyone else I have no idea. They may, I just don't know. Steve might know.
I don't know. I mean, there was the preview at the end of the book, and I don't know if anyone actually took the time to read through the preview of Lords of the Sith. And in the Lords of the Sith preview, one of the major players in that story is it Cham or Cham? Hera's father, Cham Syndulla, is in that story too. He's in Clone Wars. He's in Clone Wars, but he's a major player in Lords of the Sith because it takes place on Ryloth, which is the Twi'lek home planet. That's the only other person that really comes to mind readily.
Colin, give us some of your questions. Your
Questions that I stole from the Oprah
OW questions. I'll keep
I stole from the Oprah website.
OW.
Don't worry, I sent that exact thing to everybody. Just so everyone was on this. I wanted people to prepare. Hold on. Where's my questions at? What was your favorite part of the book? I'm just saying. I looked up book club questions, and those like the top 40 questions from like the Oprah Winfrey Book Club magazine. But that is a good question. If anyone remembers the first two parts, what was your favorite part of the book?
Vidian pushing what's her name into the acid and taking the stick away.
Damn.
Taking the
Jesus Christ.
Brutal.
That was actually a pretty great scene.
It really was. My favorite part was the first fight between Vidian and Kanan, with Hera as well. That was a pretty intense part. It reminded me a ton of I sent Colin the gift for this earlier, like the one boss fight from Resident Evil 4 where the dude's just massive and completely a behemoth force of nature. Like that's just the sense I got watching Vidian fight.
Yep, he sent me that. I've never played Resident Evil 4.
But
oh, great.
Thank you for humoring me at any rate.
Sierra, what about you?
I'm trying to think of my favorite or best buy. I'm just still thinking. Not sure.
For me, I also think that part with the TIE fighter chase with Hera, Skelly's all damaged city. What are they on? Anyway, it was Hera, Kanan, Skelly, and they were fighting off a TIE fighter. I thought that was on foot. I thought that was pretty cool.
Hold on, Ryan's back.
No, I'm not. I'm not here.
Why did you text me you were back instead of just speaking in the group?
Because
He sends me a text going back. I'm like, okay.
Because I was making my way back.
Ryan, what's your favorite part of the book?
Probably the part where he goes to reach for the lightsaber and then something in his head goes, no, not yet. Now is not the time.
Yep. Were you here when everyone else hated that part except for me?
No, but at least someone agrees with me.
Not the right time.
It was
Thank you,
definitely
Ryan.
My favorite part. I can't pick up. I just liked. I felt like the crew formed, and I felt like these people were going to be bonded together. I liked just phase 2 the most.
Mm-hmm.
The Luna, Skelly, and all them hanging out.
Yeah.
What was what's his name? The husband who just showed up with all the guns and they got assassinated.
Oh, geez.
Oh my god, yeah.
His name Gord?
Yeah.
The basilisk, not basilisk. That's an entirely different.
Just the imagery of him showing up with just 6 arms of guns just seemed cool. And then he just gets
There are a lot of cool scenes in part 2.
whooped.
I'd say I liked Vidian of all the characters, I thought Vidian was the best. And he also, for me at least,
Whoa.
he felt the most developed.
I didn't
Most
ask
developed.
the favorite character.
Sorry.
Colin needs to say what his favorite part was still.
Oh, Colin.
I haven't asked the favorite character question yet, and I was trying to get away without giving away my favorite part because I don't remember much from part 1 or 2.
Oh, got him.
Listen, I have these questions. I asked the questions. You guys answer them. But if I had to give a favorite part, it would actually have been that first fight between Vidian and Kanan because I actually thought that fight was awesome.
Yeah, me too.
He went without using the Force, went hand to hand with the goddamn Terminator. He did get beat, and he was about to die. And then some Deus Ex Machina shit happened and saved his ass. But still, Vidian was just badass. I agree. He was the best character in the book. So who's everyone's favorite character? Yoni, you can go first because you were, jumped the questions.
Vidian, of course, but he felt the most developed, and he had his second persona bullshit he was criminal mastermind. I felt he was just the most developed, fun to read about character. Evil, twisted, yeah.
He started off as an inspector, right?
Yeah, he had some low level.
Come up is real with that one. Jeez.
He is the American dream. He picked himself up by his bootstraps and lied and cheated his way to the top like a hero. Oh, my favorite character was Skelly, by the way. He was the man. He was crazy. He was the man. And my favorite part is actually him blowing up Vidian because I called that and I said I wanted him to suicide bomb and take him out, and it happened. So that was my favorite part. Skelly was my favorite character, mainly because he's insane. He's just flat out insane, but he's also right. It's like when you're people look at you because you're a crazy conspiracy theorist, but then all your conspiracies end up being true. Who has seen the Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
Nope. Oh, wait. Maybe. No. Part of it.
All right.
Yep.
That's a rhetorical question, right, Colin?
When Sonic reveals himself in Green Hill, and that old crazy guy was proven right about the Blue Devil that everyone thought was the old crazy guy.
Yeah.
Skelly, Clone Wars veteran.
Yeah.
Expert bomb guy, I guess you would call it.
Demolitions expert.
Yeah.
Survived an ass beaten from the goddamn Terminator with broken ribs and internal bleeding. And it wasn't like he went 10 steps after that. He had a long journey where he was just dying on the inside to get to the end. And then he saves his home by blowing up himself. R.I.P. my guy. The big bad. And he took out the Forager, right? Was that the ship he took out?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And he was the MVP of the book. He saved everybody. And he does not get the respect. Even Kanan at the end. I love my guy Kanan. Give them more of a... No, he's dead.
Yeah, too bad.
She's Zeluna's he might still be out there. No, he's not. And she's how do you know?
Let's not look.
And Hera's he just knows. So it's all right, Jesus. Using your force powers to sense he's dead. Couldn't use your force powers 10 minutes earlier to save his life, though.
I mean, he could have just
forced you
up.
I was about to say, Skelly took a serious drop, and Kanan's we'll come back for him. Sure, he's okay. We'll find him when we come back.
Who here hasn't said their favorite character yet?
I haven't said my favorite character yet. And Sierra, why don't you go first?
I'm undecided as well. I don't have favorites right now. So you can go. Still thinking.
Well, I am always a sucker for a bad guy, so Vidian was at the top of my list. I really liked Hera a lot too. She was probably my second favorite in the story. Okadiah. I'm surprised no one's mentioned Okadiah yet. He's in my top 3.
His death scene was my favorite scene of part 2, not because he died, but because he used his last like dying breath to be Kanan's wingman. He's sitting there about to die, and he's like, "Yo, stick with him. He's a good guy." I was like, "Oh, that's my guy."
So Luna also told Hera to take Kanan with her. It just like
Everybody loves Kanan.
Sorry, I'm trying to grab my water.
He grows on you after a while. Listen, you just don't like him because he's not like Luke Skywalker, the most overrated character in Star Wars.
No. Honestly, even when I started Rebels, I was still kind of about him. Granted, I only got a couple episodes deep, but
Listen, I can mute you, you know.
He's like a blend of Solo and Luke, and not as good as either.
He's way better than Solo. That's not even like.
It gives me Solo vibes.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Solo is an
with the
objectively bad
lightsaber.
character, and that's what makes him awesome. But Han Solo is just a bad character.
Do you want to unpack that a little bit, Colin?
Yeah, he's
not in this
herd
book.
or whatever.
First off, he shoots Greedo for no reason. They're just having a civil conversation.
Takes out Boba with a freaking accidental swipe.
Completely accident. He befriended Lando, the worst character in all of Star Wars, who betrayed them.
We're not getting down this discussion again.
You asked me to unpack it. Listen, if we can read Aftermath eventually, and then we can get into why. I love Han Solo, but he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy who just happened to luck into the good side of history.
Mm-hmm.
Because those would be spoilers for Aftermath, and going a little off topic here, but you read Aftermath, and he's like, and then when they do his thing, it's like he doesn't stay a good guy.
Solo? Really?
Wow.
I gotta read this now.
I don't know. It was a little depressing, I guess, kind of going along this train of thought, like how in The Force Awakens, like 30 years later or whatever, like I get a lot happened between him and Leia, and like losing their son to the forces of evil or whatever. But like it was just kind of depressing that like he was still 30 years later just like an old man that was still up to his old tricks and still putting fast ones over on like local gangs or whatever. And it's just like, did you not grow at all in the last 30 years? Like,
you can enunciate a lot better what I was trying to say.
I
But
mean,
it's basically there's no
Legends-
character development between 6 and 7, and I blame that on JJ, because 7 was basically just a remake of A New Hope, but there is no character development with Han Solo, and it's been 30 years. It's like, why?
The Legends version of
Kanan's
Solo.
better to get it back
The
to
Legends version of Solo, amazing. Him and Leia have their 2 kids. They do the same thing, like shovel them off, keep them hidden. I don't know why they didn't roll with that, but
I don't
that's a whole
understand.
different.
Listen, if we want to get into sequel trilogy talk here, Kylo Ren is completely justified. He's completely justified with turning to the dark side. Because if you look at that, his parents and his uncle all turn on their backs on him.
they put a ton of pressure on him too. Yeah.
Luke tries to kill him for literally no reason. It's literally no reason.
Self-defense.
He was sleeping. And then
Self-defense.
his parents are like, well, he's in the dark side. They basically just like abandon him.
I agree with the self-defense comment.
They're all
When
bad.
when you can see the future, it's self-defense.
The only true good person in the entire history of Star Wars is Ahsoka Tano. She's
Don't know.
pure.
Don't know anything about her.
Pure.
I don't know about that. I'd like to think C-3PO's up there.
He sold that arm for crack. That's why he has the red one.
Yeah, but he sacrificed his brains for his friends.
True. C-3PO. Oh. And then he got it back later. That was fine. Alright. Sierra ever give a favorite character?
No, I'll go now, I guess.
See, we vamped a bit just so you could give time to think.
It doesn't help because I just
Just
rewatched
as
all
planned.
of the Star Wars trilogy and stuff like last week. So it's like I saw a lot of things I didn't 10 years ago, I guess. I would say I need.
Who's watching anime?
What?
Who the hell is watching anime? Does Does anyone else hear the Japanese voices?
I can hear it too.
Not me.
I thought they were.
I'm waiting for Sierra with bated breath. What is it, Sierra? Who is it, Sierra?
You don't have to have a favorite character, by the way. It is a
Well, that
correct
intrigued
answer not
me,
to.
Hera from
Yeah.
part 2. Just because she knows so much, and I know that she just goes and watches people and tries to like, kind of like a recruiter. I don't know. It seems like she's just looking for people that want to go against the Empire. Wanting to know more about her history, and you guys say she has like a really cool dad, right? Sorry, I talk like a ditz, but
She
so
does
she's
have a
very
dad.
interesting. Sloane is also interesting, again, because I can't. I guess in this book, I'm just still trying to figure out who I like,
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
who they are. Obviously, Vidian was an awesome character to the book, but he's not like a favorite of mine. It was great what he could do and all that, and I just wanted him to die, but I don't like, love him. Like I love Vader. I love Vader. It's different. So,
Sure.
Something like that. That's it.
Does Ryan have a favorite character? He ever say it? Ryan doesn't speak.
He
No, I'm mute.
It's
I've
because
been
you're
on
watching.
mute for a while.
It's because you're watching anime in the background.
No,
Yeah.
I've been muted.
Do you have a favorite?
What am I doing?
Do you have a favorite character from the book? Did you read the book?
Which book?
Hold on. Oh, I don't have. I have the 2-pack, so I doesn't even say the name of the book on the title. All right, I'm just
Gotta plug it.
A New Dawn.
Ryan's favorite character. I'll answer for him. His
Okay.
favorite character was Chamas. Right, Ryan?
You were close, but it was Sloane.
Nice. Sloane shows up in other material, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm
She's
curious about it.
very crafty. And she
watch
hates a lot of
hentai.
people.
Is Sean watching hentai?
Yeah, that's him watching it.
I thought so. Okay. What was everyone's least favorite? Did you guys have a least favorite part? Do you like remember something stuck that you were like, I hate this? I'm definitely reading a question straight from Oprah's website.
I gotta think about this one.
My least favorite part was when Okadiah died, because that was my guy. Scully's death, I predicted, and was happy with it because, he went out the man, but Okadiah's death, I was just sad by. And I don't like being sad.
Damage Report as a whole, I would say, was kind of underwhelming for me because, like we were talking about earlier, I was kind of hoping for like some more hints as to like meeting the Ghost crew, like running into the last Lasat, stuff like that, like more foreshadowing for Rebels. Like I was kind of hoping maybe even we'd flash forward to like, them among a full crew, like maybe before they meet Ezra or something. But, it was a little insular, I suppose. That I didn't really care for, but whatever.
I'm trying to think of what I did not like outside of Kanan.
Listen,
I don't know. I have some notes down. There are just some characters I guess I wanted more from, but
I'm trying to look for my notes, actually.
yeah, that's what I'm looking at in front of me. Just
My problem is I didn't write down any of my notes. I kind of just like highlighted things. and then once you like finish, and you don't actually write the highlighted parts down, you're like, all right, now I don't know where I highlighted any of this stuff.
jeez. Sierra, what's your least favorite part? Pass the buck.
The detonation part should be, I don't know, a little better. Look more. I did speed read through the third part because I was camping, so maybe that's why. But I just expected a little more of, the way he died, the way Vidian died was great. Unexpected, like as he's leaving. I don't know. 1 second. There's background noise.
That's fine. All right, which one you guys didn't answer yet?
I have an
answer?
answer, but I can't think of what I didn't really like.
That's because you love the entire book. I know you did.
He
I
just
mean-
didn't like Kanan. That's the only thing.
I wish there was for him more character development.
That's the I think the problem we might run into with. I don't know if it's with the other books, but definitely with this book, is that because they knew Rebels was coming out, that this basically just seems like a story arc that could have been in Rebels, like Rebels season 0, because it is just like it leaves everything open because all the character development you want from, all the questions you want answered about Kanan and Hera, they all get answered in Rebels, and some of them get answered in the comic books, but I'd say like 95% get answered in Rebels. So it does seem like there wasn't any development in this book for them because they were leaving it open for Rebels. And I feel like that's going to happen a lot in the Disney canon because you're going to have because they're going to want to do new books, new comics, new animated shows, movies, that everything's going to be pushed back off to other things. Just like Master Balaba said. I'm going to pull up my quote again. Hold on. It's very easy to remember. It's in the last page of the book. Perhaps it will come
That's
to
why
you
you
in
picked
another
it.
form. So yeah, the answers come in another form because they come in the comic books, the animated TV shows. So they leave everything out of the book because the book basically serves as a prequel to Rebels. It introduces you to these characters and how the two of them meet. Then it jumps 6 years, but it's like they don't tell you anything that happens in the 6 years. So we don't know how they meet the rest of the crew. So you do, like Steve was saying, like you don't know how they meet anyone else from Rebels. But all the questions you had about Kanan and Hera from this book, and about Kanan's life as a Jedi, and will he take the lightsaber out again? Will he ever reveal himself as a Jedi? That all gets answered in Rebels.
So now that I was able to think, I think the least thing I liked was how Hera found out he was a Jedi. I wanted him to pull out the lightsaber.
Oh, she did too.
But it's not time. I get it.
I definitely came back at the right time.
So now I got to ask the group as a whole, if Rebels didn't exist, would you still consider this a good Star Wars story?
Honestly, yeah.
Yes.
I feel like it's a really good standalone story that explores, it takes risks because it goes into entirely new and original characters, and it doesn't rely too heavily on established characters. And it's able to still tell a very compelling story nonetheless.
Like, I love my dude Kanan, and I joke about that a lot, how I'm going to ban Yona for not liking Kanan. But yeah, Kanan's not interesting in this book at all. He's interesting to me in Rebels, but I love this story mainly because of Scully and Vidian. Because they're just two awesome characters, and they both die. So it's like, yeah, this is the only time I can see my guys. And I thought it was good. I don't think it's great. I think it's good. And good is good enough, as I like to say.
Like, it was a solid taste and a solid, like, this is what you can expect with Rebels. I think for me, how do I articulate this? So I agree that Kanan was underdeveloped, and I think a lot of that was just due to the challenges of writing this character before a TV show is coming out that's going to explore him in further detail. But I just really like the concept of the Jedi, like, following Order 66 and the Jedi Purge, and like sort of that struggle of exploring what do you do, like, when the entire galaxy sort of turned its back on you. Like, do you still do the right thing? Do you start looking out for yourself? Like, I don't know. So I think I liked that concept more than I liked the character himself, if that makes sense.
Steve, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you know a lot more about this than I do. When he reconnects himself to the Force, are like Obi-Wan and Yoda able to sense that he's out there?
You know, I'm not too sure. I don't know that they'd, like, I mean, the Force connects everything, but I don't know that they'd necessarily be looking for, like, specific individuals, per se. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know if Yoda's just, like, sitting there on Dagobah, and then, like, he reconnects to the Force, and he's like, there's another.
Just like a little ding that comes up.
Oh, yeah, Alex, you missed an entire chunk of this conversation. Your favorite part, your least favorite part, your favorite character. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, I guess I'll start. My favorite character.
Mhm.
A part of me wants to jump, obviously, to Kanan, but I'm gonna have to say, my absolute favorite character was Skelly, and as
Mhm.
odd as it would seem, my second favorite character is probably Baron Danth.
Oh, nice. See, no, I don't think anyone mentioned him last time.
No.
Barely see him. Barely hear him.
You do, but it's when he does show up, he just has, and maybe it's because of the audiobook, because the guy, he does voices and all that type of stuff. But
Is it Mark S. Thompson? Is that his name?
yeah, he's so smug and he's just such an a-hole. But it's everything worked out at the end of the book. This. In my humble opinion, it also could have been a book about our Grand Baron Danth and his rise to power on Gorse at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Because all for some reason, all the stars and planets ended up aligning beautifully for his character. At the end, he gets the full contract to mine the sunny side of Gorse and everything. But
Pretty super rich, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Was he the one with those like droids that could withstand the heat?
yeah.
The Vidian was trying to reverse engineer.
Dean
Mhm.
hates him, which is why he's a good character. That's like, every time he's mentioned.
Honestly, it's kind of like he reminded me a lot of I don't know if anyone here is Game of Thrones nut either, but he
Yeah,
really
loved Game of Thrones until the last season. I got very
Nice,
upset.
okay, I
He's
couldn't
a
see
White
that.
Walker tattoo. Was it the Night King?
Night King. Yeah. He's just me
Oh.
forever.
That's really bold. It's for Stannis. But
Um,
Danth really reminded me of Littlefinger. It's just like he knew how to
Oh
play
my gosh,
the
yeah, I
game
see that.
so well.
Yeah.
But my favorite part, um, my favorite part for the entire book was probably in phase 2 when they're inside of Skelly's, and Skelly's like he's going off about how he was a Clone Wars veteran and how about essentially at the end of the day is everything ended up being against him. And he really alluded to the fact that, and there's a quote somewhere in my notes from back then, that he brings up the fact that the Clone Wars was all useless. Like it was all essentially just a big show to roll out the red carpet for ultimately for the Empire. And he has a great quote there where he says, authoritarian rule is in this decade. And I just I thought it was. I thought the fact that they could really hone in on the that really dark side of the Clone Wars that you don't really hear about too much. He's an amputee. He has severe PTSD and anxiety. It essentially drives him crazy. It isolates him from everybody else. I really liked that human factor that was sprinkled throughout this novel a lot. And I guess my least favorite part of the book. Okay, I guess for selfish reasons, my least part of the book, because I obviously there's things I could nitpick about the book, but all in all, I would give it a solid B plus. But my least favorite part is I thought they could have done just a little bit more with the reveal of Lemuel Tharsa. I don't know. I don't feel like that part was necessarily rushed, but I felt like that maybe could have been dragged out a little bit as opposed to, all of a sudden they came across biometrics and, the light bulb goes off in the eureka moment. But, like I said, all in all, I did truly enjoy this novel. Yeah, were there things I maybe would have done a little bit differently, but like Steve also said, writing about a character, especially when they're in the midst of producing it, and especially if the book came out about a month before Rebels aired, and they were, already had Rebels, at least the pilots going, edited. I'm assuming with a month's time, you're only putting finishing touches on things as opposed to, really cutting through and editing. But I think all in all, I did truly enjoy this book.
Mm-hmm.
Enough that I've reread it a few times. So.
Okay, so my guy Yona has a hard out at 8:45 because he's tired.
Oh, no, wait. So quick question. All right, I can't, maybe I am the only one, but the sunny side of Gorse, how did Vidian miss that? Mining that, huh? How did he miss that?
Was it just because they couldn't withstand the heat? Because they said that Baron Dance droids could, so he was like reverse engineering them. Because like if the humans went down, they just melt, and like their droids couldn't withstand the heat, but Baron Dance could. So he was like reverse engineering his droids to try and figure out how to make heat resistant ones for them. 'Cause I guess the sun's way too strong during the daytime.
I thought it was a convenient kind of like, you think Vidian would have thought of that or designed his own droids to just do that?
You think with
I
all
felt
his
like it was a quick
cybernetics,
bait and switch.
he'd be heat resistant.
There was a plot twist to the whole story where he was going to destroy Cinda anyways because he wanted to cover his tracks of being Tharsa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was huge. When I read that, I was like, wow, this guy. So whether it was for the Thorlight or not, he wanted to blow up the moon.
Yeah, he wanted Gorse to get effed up and Cinda to get effed up. No, I agree with Sierra totally. I mean, shit, dude.
He used to work at Gorse. It's just so weird how that like goes back. He was supposed to just visit Gorse, and all of a sudden he's blowing up Cinda. Like,
yeah, it escalated quickly.
All right, so anyone got anything else to say about the book before I move on to our next subject? Because I just got to make a couple quick things we got to talk to before we end. And I know my guy is tired.
Master and Apprentice, here we come, right?
Yeah.
One last thing, how effed up was it that he had that message of how he was going to cover and blame Sloane on being...
Yeah, I know. That was
up
awful.
too.
Yeah.
This guy is...
Yeah,
he
but
was
you also...
nice to her, and she was actually like, wow, he actually kind of respects me. Or nope, he was
No, he was taking down everyone and getting rich and a promotion.
Let's not forget that he got her on his side by saying the command of the ship, he'd put a good word in that she'd get it.
yeah
Like he opened his mouth about that, and like for the especially the rest of that part of the chapter, she's essentially, she's a drooling dog sitting there, in front of a plate of food. Like, oh my God, he's gonna make me an admiral one day. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do also respect that Sloane at the end was smart enough to kind of know, like, you want to know what? He seems a little too excited about all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And especially I as like secondary characters go, I think Sloane, even aside from like the other medias and stuff like this, like I think this was a great book for Sloane. Mm-hmm. It really showed, it's like, yeah, she's a bit naive as like a temp captain when you first see her and all that, but my girl ain't staying like that forever. All right, she ain't no fool.
Read all the books and you'll see all of Sloane's character development. I've read them all like out of order though. So I've seen like the end of her career to the beginning. It's all convoluted now. But since we did finish our first book, how's everyone feeling with the club so far? You guys liking about it? You guys liking things, hating things? What should we be doing?
There ever going to be club jackets?
No, I'm telling you. Well, listen. We can have club jackets, but me and Alex are also talking on the side about how we wanted to get like motorcycles and start like a motorcycle riding group.
Is that while reading the books?
Not a motorcycle club, a riding group. Very specific. Because you do not want to wear a jacket with a patch, ride in a motorcycle without permission from real motorcycle clubs.
Especially the past week, Colin has gone
Dude,
Colin has gone 0 to 100 about wanting learning
want a
about
Harley.
bikes and
I
everything.
want a Harley.
Oh, I know that.
Movie. I'm not that kind of person.
That's fine.
Driving a regular car, I'd kill myself.
At first, I was like, look, we have to cut the Sith reading club. Then we can have to cut the Sith riding club. And then I was like, ooh, we can get patches on our jackets. So I started looking things up, and everything I was reading was like, you don't be putting
Don't do
patches
that.
on your jackets unless you get
There's
permission.
like, yeah,
And I
no.
was like, I don't know who to ask permission from. Because like you have to ask the top motorcycle club in your area. And I was like, how do I find that info out? Are they in the phone book?
Public
Just
information.
pictures
Just Google
Colin at,
motorcycle clubs near me.
I had to find the top one.
You see Colin walking into a dingy dive bar with a cut the Sith jacket on, like
Oh,
leading the
God.
hell
Oh,
with a
my
few of us
God.
just being like, hey guys, listen, who do I need to speak to around here? That'd be
It's
good.
like, because they're gonna ask you why you're starting the club and everything. I'm like, listen, you guys familiar with Star Wars? We have a Star Wars book club, and we want to advertise it while riding our motorcycles across country.
Oh my lord.
And they're just gonna be like, just get out of here. And I'm like, all
I
right.
said to Colin, we might get lucky. Maybe somebody in, said motorcycle group is a fanatic. Just
I'm
happens
sorry.
to be,
If you
biker,
wanna
but
be-
also a
Are
fanatic.
any other Star Wars YouTube channels trying to break into biker culture?
If you want to be
That's very good
thematically
point.
correct, just call yourself a swoop gang.
Oh, I like that a lot actually.
So yeah, no jackets. I do want to get T-shirts though,
I would like a T-shirt.
Adam,
but I don't know where to I have to look into that. I don't know which websites to use or whatever. You guys will all be buying your own T-shirts. No free merch.
I personally have liked this though. This is the only book that I've read during this entire whole thing outside of some comics, but yeah, it's fun to shoot the shit with all of you. And the book was pretty good. Pretty good. I'm still not a Kanan fan, but
Yeah, he's not that great in this book because this book is like
He doesn't get to do Jedi things.
this book's basically like chapter 0 for Kanan. If this was like a comic book, because he doesn't take the lightsaber out, and that's basically. I'm gonna just speak for the entire universe at this moment. From the very first page where they're like talking about him as a Jedi apprentice, pre-Order 66, asking all those questions throughout the entire book, you're like, when's the moment he's taking that lightsaber out? And it does not happen. That's actually what I think is the biggest twist in the entire book, is he does not pull the lightsaber out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And-
I see what you're saying. Like the book took a heel turn.
Yeah, because it was like they set it up the entire time, and then he goes to grab phone and like, no, it's not the right time. And
It's
then
pretty subversive. Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Did Ryan Johnson write this book?
You and Yona have two completely different opinions on Ryan Johnson. You love the Ryan Johnson. Yona hates all the sequel movies.
that's fair. I don't like them.
I'm entitled to your opinion, man.
Yona just likes the original trilogy. He's like, listen, this book would be better if Luke Skywalker was in it.
It would be.
Luke is not a likable character in A New Hope, I'll tell you that right now.
Hero's journey, man. Hero's journey. He's the
Kanan
shit.
has a better journey. Oh yeah, Kanan doesn't try to kill his nephew.
That's why that's part of the
Self-defense.
sequels, man. The recent movies. Normal Luke wouldn't do that shit.
Hold on. I just want to tell you guys something. He sent me an article, super excited. And he's like, they're gonna erase the sequel trilogy, and I was like, from like Cosmic Book News, I was like, yo, no, that's a clickbait website that just makes up fake stories. They're not getting rid of the sequel trilogy.
I
A
saw
lot
those same articles too.
a
Fred,
lot of people have been
I
spreading that.
really thought it was happening.
I believe the person who first mentioned his name was Doomcock,
Yep.
and according to all of Star Wars Twitter, he just like makes stuff up.
Oh,
And
okay.
Cosmic Book News does post a lot of just fake clickbait articles.
We Got This Covered does the same
Yeah.
thing too. Yeah.
Anytime people share those, I'm like, those aren't true. and he was so excited. He
I
messaged me.
really was.
He Skyped me during work and sent me the link and goes, "Oh my god!" And I was like, I didn't even click on the link at first. I looked at the URL and I was like, that website posts fake news.
You know what the sad part is now on my like Google News feed, an
Just like
article comes up from them every day.
Yeah, I hide
Kathleen
those.
Kennedy is gone within the next year.
Well, that's like there's like all those YouTubers out there that all post like these fake videos. I forget who it was, but someone shared a thing going, Brie Larson has never been in talks to be in anything Star Wars, but this one YouTuber makes like 9 videos about her attached to Star Wars a day.
Oh my god.
You
I
just
saw
gotta.
that article.
And we
Listen.
all know how gullible the average YouTube commenter is.
I'm just gonna say, if the source's name ends with the word cock, it's probably not true. Unless it's about like Pornhub.
If his name was like Reliable Rooster.
I do think the Hayden Christensen thing's true though.
I really want it to be true.
I've seen reliable people talking about that being a rumor, how it was supposed to be announced at Star Wars Celebration this year.
I really hope Hayden is coming back.
Who the
for
fuck is this guy?
Kenobi.
Did he leave and come back in? Or, oh, that's him.
Yeah, he needs to come back. I was like, so who do you think it
I
was?
thought a different person. I didn't see him leave. I thought he just.
I
went
just
to the
used
other
the
side.
force
I
to.
thought someone new walked in. And I was like, "Who is that guy?" It'd be crazy if he just like sitting there and then the guy just shows up behind him and lightsabered him.
No, I had to get a light in here. It was like getting dark.
You waited till the end of the meeting to turn the light on.
Sorry. See my glowing Jewish face in your.
But at least we can say for the next book, anybody that thought any type of lightsaber battle was lacking ain't gonna be lagging anymore. I'll tell you that. Especially with Master and Apprentice, it is balls to the wall. Star
Oh boy,
Wars.
I can't wait.
Qui-Gon's in it.
I love Qui-Gon.
Liam Neeson.
The best character from the prequels. Who, had he not been killed by Darth Maul,
I'll vouch for that one.
had he not been killed by Darth Maul, Anakin Skywalker would be the greatest Jedi of all time.
I've read an article, now granted, I don't know how true it is, but I guess I feel it was more this person's opinion than anything, bringing up the fact that the initial score when Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon are all fighting is called Duel of the Fates. And, the whole thing is, it's essentially
that's,
the fate of this child.
They're all
Filoni
taking
said that.
what Dave Filoni said. Did you watch the Mandalorian gallery thing?
I haven't yet.
He mentions it during that, and then every YouTuber, every Twitter account, every website just rewrote what he said, going, "Yes, Queen."
Okay, then yeah,
That's
I agree with Dave.
They
1000%.
literally did not add any of their own input to what he said. They just said what he said, and it was like, "Yes, I agree." Which what he said's true because he's
It's 100% true. Yeah, and like
George Lucas's apprentice.
he's the chosen one.
That's the true Master and Apprentice I want to read about. I
God,
hope
this. Yeah,
George Lucas writes an autobiography. I just hope he does.
I don't know. A piece of me doesn't even want him to, because like I kind of look at George Lucas a little bit, kind of like
God.
the Emperor a little bit, like the Emperor, just in the background, always like yes, eat it all up, my children, and I will every single time. I don't even give a shit what it is.
I'm sure he was actually glad that the sequel trilogy was kind of getting bad-ish reviews, because he's like, I had my original idea and it would have been better.
it would not have been better though.
I agree, it wouldn't have been better, but he's probably thinking it would have been better.
Colin, you could have got Darth Jar Jar if Lucas was behind it.
Oh man, you know what? If I will tell you right now, Darth Jar Jar should have been real, and they should have went with Michael Jackson playing him. Michael Jackson wanted to play Jar Jar. He
Oh
wanted
my
to.
lord.
He wanted to.
The fact that you just said that, all I could think about is him in Men in Black 2. Just like, I can be Agent M.
I read an article like a couple months ago that he went to like George Lucas about how he wanted to play
What
Jar
website
Jar.
was this article on?
No, this one's actually sources cited. Unlike Yona, I go to real websites.
Hey man, don't diss cosmic news.
And then it was basically like he wanted to play Jar Jar, but Lucas didn't want someone of his star power playing Jar Jar because he didn't want him to like overshadow the character.
That's fair.
So then he got Ahmed Best, and I think it was when they were filming the movie. He like went behind the scenes. He met all like the people doing the movie. He was really friendly with them. He met Ahmed Best, was really friendly with them. When he found out Ahmed Best was playing Jar Jar, he was completely cold to him after that.
Oh no.
And dude, like, can you imagine that's where the hate for your character starts? Michael Jackson.
The king of
It's
pop.
just-
Also, listen, not to get too political, let's not get a character supposed to appeal to kids being played by Michael Jackson.
Enough said. Yeah.
So there's a podcast, I was there too, where it talks. They interview the guy. What's his name? Colin, you just said it. Ahmed.
Ahmed Best.
Ahmed Best. Yeah.
So they do an entire podcast with him just telling them all about his entire time playing Jar Jar, the aftermath, meeting Michael Jackson going like, yeah, it's a pretty good podcast.
I love that he had that Ahmed Best had this whole like because he was depressed, he was suicidal after it, but now he's like
Imagine.
the Star Wars fans have welcomed him back, and I think it's because Jar Jar did appeal to kids. Kids love Jar Jar, and those kids are now our age now. Because I was 9 when Phantom Menace came out. I loved Jar Jar. I'm
I thought
30
it was
now.
hilarious.
The people our age love Jar Jar, and we're like, why did anyone hate him, and why did they make the actor suicidal? So now Ahmed Best is all back. He's the host of Jedi Temple Challenge, which is like, what was that one on Nickelodeon?
Legends of the
Legends
Hidden
of the
Temple.
Temple.
Yeah.
That's
It's
it.
not as good as that at all. But
Oh,
Ahmed
because
Best
it's missing Olmec.
But Ahmed Best is awesome, and the show actually is fun. And you know what? We're turning this right into a discussion on Jedi Temple Challenge because I got a bone to pick. When you choose the dark side, the next challenge is supposed to be harder, and it is, but it's not that hard because here's the thing. The problem is people wait too long to use the dark side because they don't want to, because the fear is the next challenge will be too hard. So they wait to the last minute to use the dark side. They do it when like they're not going to finish the first challenge in time. They can't figure out how to beat the first challenge. They tap on the dark side. They've already wasted like 75% of their time. They do the next challenge on the dark side. They finish that thing pretty quickly, and they end up losing. And I'm like, if these dudes tap dark side right when that first challenge starts, they win. Not the episode that aired today. Last week's episode. I've watched all of them so far except for today's. They go to the first challenge, right? This kid taps the dark side the second it pops up. And I can't tell you, I've never cheered so hard for like what a 12-year-old has done. I was like, yeah!
You're going deep into this.
He taps dark side, right? And he goes, look, this challenge looked hard. We just wanted to have enough time. They do the dark side challenge. They beat this thing. Like, they could have beat this thing twice with how much time they had left. They're gonna make those dark side challenges harder. Because if you tap that thing at the beginning every time, you will win no matter what. And there's no penalty for tapping the dark side, except for like the next challenge is supposed to be harder. So if I was a consultant on the show, which I should be because I have plenty of ideas, let me tell you right now, I will take my phone off silence unknown callers to answer their phone call. They want to, invite me on. I would compete on the show if there was. I don't know if there's like an age limit.
I'm pretty sure there is, but
Me and Alex would.
that wouldn't stop you.
Who was that?
I told you there's a barbecue going on still.
Yeah, but I've seen people that live in your house.
Oh, I'm not giving out names on the internet. I was gonna say we're all adults. Hey, come on, man. We don't just willy-nilly give out information onto the internet.
So, any other thoughts about the first 6 weeks of book club? The first book was finished. Everyone,
Honestly.
give yourself a round of applause for finishing your first book ever in your life.
In a long time.
I did tell Colin though today, especially because it's been a long since Saturday, I guess I consider that the week. It's been a long week for me, and honestly, like, not to get mushy and gushy with you guys or anything, but I do truly enjoy, coming here and getting to sit around, talk with you guys, especially about Star Wars, and even then, we always end up talking about other things anyways, and I would consider you all friends.
Eh,
I love you guys.
I mean, I consider Ryan and Steve my friends.
Are you serious?
Ooh,
Yes.
damn.
I'm sorry, Alex is my cousin.
I'm
You
tapping
two,
out.
You two are coworkers.
Okay.
No, fine. I consider you all friends. No.
It's too late. It's
We
recorded.
need-
You already said it.
We need to have an in-person meeting when all this stuff ends. And I'll tell you this right now. I will 100% verbatim do the speech from Fast and Furious about family that Vin Diesel gives.
Honestly, I'm going to hold that to you. I'm going to hold that to you, especially I'm going to make sure when we do it, it's at a round table and we get like a high up camera angle and
Oh, yeah.
sit there, watch you in a muscle shirt, just go in.
Oh, there will be a muscle shirt, and I'll buy like a size medium so
my
it's
Lord.
extra tight.
We
And
all
I'll have
ride in on Harleys.
It's been recorded for posterity, so it's happening now.
I'm the one that controls the recording. I could delete all of this.
Please don't.
Damn it, he got me.
I was going to say don't. I want to see if you guys are talking shit about me when I left.
No, I
Missed
haven't
it.
told anyone while you weren't here yesterday. If you don't want to tell them, you don't have to.
Not while it's recording.
All right, works for me. So, anyone got any questions about the book club? Anyone excited for the next book?
So how much of the next book
Oh.
are we reading for the next meeting, Colin?
Well, if
Yes.
everyone check the Discord, 13 chapters.
I know that it's on the Discord, but you're right here, and you can tell me right now.
It's like me
First 13
texting Colin, like, what time are we meeting? How far?
The first 13 chapters.
Okay.
All right, works for me.
Oh yeah, because this one's not divided into parts, and I forget how many chapters there are. It was like something like 37 or 38.
Yeah.
So I
ish.
think I was just like, divide by 3, I guess. So I did like the first 13 chapters, which we're meeting in 13 days. So read a chapter a day.
Yes, Professor Colin.
Yeah, because
Works for me.
we're meeting again on Tuesday, July 28th at 7 p.m. We're going back to Tuesdays because Alex had to cancel yesterday. That was a rough spot. We couldn't do yesterday. We couldn't do tomorrow or Friday. And then we had to push today to 7:30.
Listen, when we go off recording, I'll tell you guys why, but I'll take full responsibility for
Do you want me to hit the outro and go off recording right now?
Do it.
All right, hold on.
I mean, no, if only if everybody's set.
I don't know if everyone's done talking about the book, because also
I'm good. Yeah.
this is your time for anything you want to change with book club. Now is your time to speak.
Is
Otherwise, I
anything
have full power. What was that?
changing so far? Did you make any changes for next?
Absolutely not. See, what my original vision was, if people want me to tell, you know how, I don't know who I've told this to, I've told this to other people. When you see a movie, like, we all went to see like a new Star Wars movie, right? I know I do this with my friends. Movie ends, we stay on the parking lot for like 30 minutes chatting out the movie. I literally just wanted this about books because I pretend to hate people, but I do hate people, but I do miss human interaction. I don't talk to
What's
anyone.
that?
I don't see anyone. I haven't left outside of going to like the grocery store or my brother's house to see my niece and nephew. Well, nieces and nephew. Outside of that, I have not really left my house since March. So I just wanted some human interaction. So I actually have no actual like solid concrete plans for how to run this book club. I'm just doing it by the seat of my pants. So if anyone has any ideas, anything they want to do, I'm open to literally anything. I just wanted to talk to my broskies. Sierra, bros is a gentle neutral term. I want to talk to my broskies about Star Wars because I was literally just reading Star Wars books and talking to like Steve and Alex about them. So yeah,
Your friends. We're not all your friends. I get it.
No, I changed that. You are all my friends. Actually, I did
I'm
add Sierra.
offended.
I did add Sierra as to one of my friends a while ago.
You said you gave me I'm 9, right?
Yeah, so Yona can be, I guess, number 10. This was before I actually started talking to him. That's how long ago I added Sierra as my friend. No, because see, I was very happy that I could count all my friends on both hands. And at the time, I had 8 friends, and I was like, well, Sierra, I guess I can make you number 9 because there's room.
Brutal sometimes. You're brutal.
Wait, there's a ranking
Steve was
system?
on that list. There's not a ranking system. I mean, I have a ranking system. I'm not going to tell you guys it. We all rank our friends, don't we?
No.
You always get to pick your friends. That's the fun part, right?
Really? Get married and see who you pick as your best man, and then you realize there is a ranking system.
I feel like
comment.
there's some
No
sort of
comment.
resentment in that and the way
Alex,
you
if you
said
get
that.
married, am I your best man? I'm just gonna ask you right now on the spot
if you
while we're recording.
If you convert over to the Orthodox religion, you will be. If not, it will probably be my sister.
You don't have any Greek friends?
No, I really don't.
What
I'm my dad.
Yeah,
I'm my dad and Yaya.
you would choose your sister over your dad? Would your dad be mad about that?
Listen, he'll probably never watch this, but listen, he didn't pick me as his best man. All right.
Oh, really? Well,
I
for-
also
for-
it's like I
for,
was super busy and all that type of stuff.
for everyone else in the group, Alex's dad got remarried about like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, like a month, almost a month.
That changes the context then.
This
yeah.
isn't like
Okay, yeah,
This is
no.
like
Okay, I
3 years
probably should have led with that.
it's like you weren't born the first time you got married.
But I also, just because I'm pretty sure no one in my family will ever watch this.
Wait, they don't watch our YouTube channel?
My mom and my dad. Dude, sometimes my dad can barely work his cell phone. For like how good of a lawyer he is and everything, it's like sometimes he has issues with like copy and paste. Okay.
Sierra, I need you to next time you're in the office. I don't know when you guys go back. You put our YouTube video on every single computer in that building.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
You gotta do the U2 thing.
And say oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, do what U2 did. U2 put like their one of their albums on like every single iPhone in the
Can I
United
tell you,
States.
that was the most overblown like controversy ever. You people are crazy to have automatic downloads turned on. If you had automatic downloads off, it would not have downloaded to your phone. Which I don't have on because why would I just have mysterious downloads from iTunes happen randomly?
Fair.
So
Edward Snowden would agree.
I blame all of them. All right, so I'm gonna hit the outro now unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about the group or any questions about 2 weeks from now.
No, that U2 thing was like a virus, though. I couldn't even get around that shit. All right, done.
I circumvented it completely because when the first time I got my iPad, I set it to like manual downloads only. So I had them because they gave it to everyone for free, but it didn't auto download to my iPad. And everyone else was like, oh, they all just downloaded to my iTunes. I was like, well, your own fault. That's like people who complain that they got like pictures sent to them on the train because of
Oh yeah, they have like
airdrop,
the Bluetooth on.
whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have that turned off for literally everyone. I don't even think my like friends could send me that.
I'm curious now.
Okay, I'm gonna do the outro, stop recording, and then Alex can tell us why he made us push a day.
I have one more
Deep
question.
horrible mystery.
Of course, Wombat.
Why did they close Ghirardelli in Boston?
Listen,
Ooh, the chocolate place?
I don't know. Me and
Very
you.
disappointed.
Whenever me and you went there too, it did seem kind of like there were people in there. I don't know if they were just.
It was
afraid
always
of it.
busy.
Yeah, I had a good time at Ghirardelli. The one in San Diego was super dirty. I'm gonna say, very gross. But
The original one in San Francisco was good.
Disney's is always good. Disney's is always packed.
Yeah, because it's like the only place to get ice cream.
They close all my favorite things in Boston. Anyways, none of that has to do with club meetings. So,
Well, to be fair, you said, does anyone have any more questions?
well, no more questions. I told Yona we'd be out of here by 8:45. And just to let you know, I tried to stop at 8:30 and he wanted to continue. So I don't want him getting mad at me when he's tired in the morning for work.
As a good emperor, put it back on your subjects. Very good, very good.
Yes. Listen, it says Colin was right, not Colin was wrong. Okay, so that does it for another episode of Cut the Sith Reading Club. We did it, guys. We completed a book. Join us again in 2 weeks as we start a new book, Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. Yes, I just wanted to make sure it was Claudia Gray. By Claudia Gray. We'll be discussing the first 13 chapters. And yeah, just like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bells to get all sorts of updates about all future videos. Join the Discord. There'll be a link in the description. Follow the Twitter at twitter.com/cutthesith. Link will be in the description. And just enjoy some good, wholesome, friendly Star Wars book talk with us. And I'm going to end the recording. 1, 2,